Hi, this is Sherry Dinkins, your English 110 instructor. Just want to give you some help as far as in-text citations and works cited entries. So while I'm doing my research, I want to actually find 3 separate articles. One must be from the ICC database. That's the absolute minimum. As you're glancing at the other sample student written essays that were given, they often use like 6 or 9. So more is actually better because it's showing that more people agree with you. So just a thought. As I'm glancing at my, I've created a document in Google Docs. You can use Google Docs or Microsoft Word, doesn't matter. I've already put in my scratch outline, which includes my thesis statement, which was approved, and then my 3 topic sentences. You can see I've gotten a little bit of a head start in that I found a quote already from an article. So you'll notice that I put the author's last name, and I need to find out more about them because I think there's actually more than one author for this article. So as I'm glancing at where I found it on the database, I'm going to click open the article to see what I need to know about this. So there's actually 3 authors, which means I'm going to use the first author's last name and the phrase et al., which means those others. So instead of listing all 3 last names, I'm just going to list the first person's last name. So I'm also going to, instead of trying to create my works cited by copying everything and pasting it in, I'm just going to use the citation button. Sometimes there's a cite button or citation button. If I click on that, I want to be sure that it's MLA 8th or 9th edition. I want to avoid the other kinds, the APA, Chicago, just ignore those. And I want to make sure that I'm clicked onto MLA. I'm going to go ahead and copy that in. So I'm just putting my cursor over it. I'm hitting Control-C. You may have another way to do it. That's okay. I'm going to create a separate page called Works Cited. I'm going to go ahead and dump that information in. I'd already formatted this page, but if you haven't formatted it, it's not a problem. I'm going to select that. I'm going to actually change the font. I want to make sure it's 12 points. It looks like it's double spaced already, but I can always recheck that if I need to. I'm going to go ahead and leave it because I know it's double spaced already. I'm going to go ahead and do what we call a hanging indent. A hanging indent means the first part of that works cited entry is hanging out there. So I'm going to grab this little marker. I'm going to pull it over to 0.5. Whoop, didn't quite get it. There we go. I'm going to now grab just the top little sliver and pull it back over to 0. There's another way to do this, but this is just, I just wanted to show you one of the simplest ways to do it. And then you can examine other ways to do it if you're working with a tutor. So boom, I've got a works cited entry that's correctly in. I've also got their last name used in my in-text citation and the words et al., which means the others. So if somebody is reading this, that's interesting, I'm going to find out more, they can now go down to here and find that article. Not all of them include a URL, but they will include a URL if you're making your own works cited entry. So let's do that next. So now I'm going to Google something and see if I can get some results. I didn't capitalize PFAS, it doesn't matter. I always want to avoid whatever comes up first. This is actually not usually, it's not always related to an article. It's sometimes scraped from the internet and sort of dumped at the top. So it's artificial intelligence and Google is trying to help me. I'm not feeling very helped there. So I'm going to go to one of the actual articles down below. This is done by a news organization called CNN. That's a great source. Food and Drug Administration would be a good source. Brown University. Clean Water Action is a nonprofit. It might be good as long as they're not kind of trying to get me to donate or kind of biased. So I'm just going to grab this one from CNN because I've kind of read through it already. As I'm glancing down, it looks like a pretty good article. The first thing I notice is something that's going to change my thesis statement. I notice that there is actually a bill that is in the process of being approved. Now you may be thinking, gosh, Ms. D, that happened in 2021. That bill's probably already gone through. You'll have to change your topic because that's already been introduced and passed. Actually, it's not been approved. So when I Googled this No PFAS in Cosmetics Act, I found congress.org, which is an excellent resource to recheck any sort of law that's in the process, that's in the pipeline. When I noticed this is it's been introduced, it has not been passed by Congress or the House. It's not been passed by the Senate. It has not been passed by the President. It's not a law yet. Now, if I had seen this little black arrow moving across, it might be too far over. If it's already become law, I don't want to use this as a topic because it's already happened. So it's kind of silly for me to argue for something that's already happened. But this one is actually stuck in Congress right now. So I'm actually going to change my thesis statement. What I'm now going to say is, I'll go back and get the title of that. So I want to use the correct name of the bill. And I'm going to say, Congress must pass, and then I'm going to dump in the bill name. And it's okay if it gets kind of goofed up there. I can always, whoops, I can always fix this stuff, formatting. Not a big deal. You can always do this later if you don't really feel like doing it right away. So boom. I've got the House Representatives number. It may say SB for Senate bill, HB for House bill. I'm going to change that hyphen to a little colon. I'm also going to put quote marks around what it's called. I'm going to put my period within the quote mark. So I've actually rewritten my thesis statement to be better based on the research I'm doing to find my quotes. So now I've got a stronger thesis statement. And if you're ever worried about this, you can pass it by me by email or repost onto the Scratch outline. That's okay. I understand you're finding stuff out as you're looking. So the first thing I'm looking for is that it's bad for consumers. So instead of reading this whole article, I'm going to hit Control F. You can say I was searching a little bit earlier. I'm going to put in kind of a hot topic that it's been linked to cancers or other things. So if you hit Control F, I'm not reading the whole page after page after page. I'm actually looking for a certain idea. So that would work if I was looking for newborn or babies or unborn children. I could put that little guy in my search and look on the page. So this is an excellent quote. I noticed that it's actually being said by somebody named Collins, but this article is published by someone else, but don't worry, we can use this. I'm going to use a direct quote, which means I'm copying and pasting it into my outline. Later on, that will appear into my body paragraph. So, of course, the formatting is a little bit goofed up, not a problem. I can always fix that. As I'm glancing at this, I noticed that a person named Collins wrote it in a statement for the press. So I'm going to make sure I give Collins credit. So I'm going to say Collins, QTD in, which means quoted in. My I always goes uppercase. That person is being quoted in somebody else's article. I'm going to go to the top of the page. This is by somebody named Sandy Lamott. So I'm going to make sure I put Lamott's name to give them credit. That person wrote the article. Collins is the person talking or writing within the article. So whenever you have a speaker or a writer within an article, we want to give them credit as well. But Lamott is what we'll be looking for as we create a works cited entry later on. You may be thinking, hey, Ms. D, how do you know this stuff? It's actually not that hard, and I'll kind of show you how I know this. I want to click on the instructions, and as I glance down under additional resources, it says, click here for works cited entry quick guide. There's also this video too. The quick guide means I'm going to give you a little page that says, hey, what goes first, what comes next, what do you need to do? This is for MLA 8th edition, which is completely fine to use. If you're using a database that uses 9th edition, even better. If you're using ProQuest, they often use 7th edition MLA, so I would ask you to go back to the ICC database to find the 8th edition or 9th edition MLA citation style instead. So this tells you all you need to know. Last name, comma, first name, title of the actual article in quote marks, period goes inside, who published it. If there's a sponsor, that would actually go right here, the date, and the URL. That's as simple as it is. Of course, I've been doing this for years, so of course I've memorized it, but that's a great way to find out how do I create my own works cited entry. So let's go down here and get started on ours. We want to put Lamott's last name. It was Sandy. Now we're going to find out a little bit more about them. Here's the title of that. I'm going to kind of get rid of that formatting. I hate that formatting when I put it in there, but you can always reformat it. It's not a big deal. So now I'm going to actually put a quote mark around this. I'm going to put a period quote mark. One thing I've noticed is that with the one I copied over from the database, it has capital letter for almost everything other than small words called articles. I'm going to use the same thing for this one. What I'm going to do, because I'm a little bit lazy, is I'm going to collect all the words in the title. I'm going to go to Format Text, go to Capitalization, and say Title Case. There's something similar in Microsoft Word. Now, all I have to do is fix this little capitalization thing, and I'm ready. So I didn't have to go type back over each letter to make it upper and lowercase. The lowercase is just used for small words like and, in, on, of, the. Those would be lowercase. don't worry about this stuff, and if you get distressed, see a tutor at ICC. They're really, really helpful. This was published by CNN Health, so I'm going to make sure I put that in there as closely as I can to what it looks like. Now I'm going to make sure that there's no sponsor. So sometimes a place publishes it, but there's a sponsoring agency. Down here it says Cable News Network, which is CNN. I don't need to change that. And then it says a Warner Brothers Discovery Company. And I'm like, they are owned by somebody. So I need to give that sponsor credit as well. So always check the bottom of your web page to see, is there a sponsor, somebody who owns that web page? So CNN Health, or Cable News Network Health, did publish the article, but they're owned by someone else. So I want to give props to the owner as well. So I'm going to paste that in. It kind of came in all weird. That's fine. I'm going to actually spell out brothers to be a little more fancy. Correct. I'm going to hit comma. Now I'm ready to put in the date, the URL, and I'm basically done. The only thing that actually gets italicized would be the actual publisher, the place that publishes it. That's usually at the top of the page here. I could use CNN.com, but I see that CNN Health is here. That's actually more correct. It's more proper. Now I'm going to look at the date, Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. So we're going to do this in the proper way for MLA, which means we put the date and then the month and then the year. Now I'm going to copy over the URL, and I'm done with my works cited entry. I'm making it look all easy. I know sometimes when people do this, it's overwhelming, it's exhausting, and it's weird. I get that. So tutors can be very helpful. I'm going to hover or click on this to get rid of the little link. If I'm doing a proper works cited entry, I don't want any blue type or underlines. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter to get my next source up there. You'll notice it tried to underline it in blue link again, but I'm smarter than the computer. I'm going to click on it and hit remove link to get rid of that. So basically I'm 2 quotes in. I'm going to get 3 quotes for each one of these topic sentences. If I can't find any good quotes that support this, I may change that topic sentence, repost it to the Scratch outline, or email my instructor to say, hey, I couldn't find anything on unborn children. Can you help me find something? Can a librarian help me? Or should I change my topic sentence? In this case, there's actually a lot of proof for unborn children getting a bad deal with these substances. So I'm on my way to doing my detailed outline. I've already got the formatting done, but I have another video to show formatting. So please don't get too nervous or scared. If you're using the database, it will give you this great stuff already made for you. If you don't have that and you're kind of creating something from a web source, don't worry about it. Just go to those instructions, click on that, how do I cite, that little link. It will show you a little example. So thanks so much for watching my video on how to get going on in-text citations and works cited entries for your detailed outline.